Okay. We're going to mount up yet another one of these video cameras. This is the mount that came with it. Came with this little ring with a quick unbuckle type thing. Anyway, I thought I had an extra 1-inch ring, and it didn't have enough meat on that thing where I could open it up to the 26 millimeters required here. So I'd go ahead and that's a standard 1/4 is what that is. So yeah, I just went to the hardware store and bought a little package of 1/4 bolts. And so what I'm gonna do is take this extra ring. It's just one of those cheap Chinese rings, no name. One of them blew out here on the screw. Apparently they either didn't thread it right, or it was undersized, or heat treating was no good. Anyway, this one held okay, so I had to replace the rings on my rifle and have one ring left over. So I'm going to cut that off and stick a nut. There's a little gap underneath. Stick a nut in there and epoxy that thing in. And then just take the bolt, cut it off, and it'll just thread right into there. And I'll do that up with some epoxy or Loctite, and it'll be, kind of like this. So it'll be just threaded on there. And I can also, since it'll have that post sticking out, I can stick on any other camera I want as well. Anyway, those are all video stuff that at least I know of. Everything I own is 1/4, and those are real common. I just went to Walmart and bought a little bag of bolts. Here they are, 1/4. See if they. And what I'll do, I'll just take one of those nuts, and there's a little gap underneath there, just about right size for that. Let's go ahead and drill, and possibly I might run a tap in there to get a little more meat on that screw, a little more meat than one nut, since it won't be able to go through. So I might go ahead and tap this hole too. More, and that's what we're going to do. So it'll be about like that. And to hog this thing out, I just put a level. One's cheap little. I got one of these cheap little plastic levels like this. So I just leveled the back jaw since it's pretty well fixed, and then leveled the top of these. And that way I know it's getting a pretty straight cut. The rest of it will just finish off. Okay, let's get you up closer here. Okay, as you can see, it hacksawed rather easily. I did walk out of the cut a little bit, but that didn't bother me at all. That Chinese aluminum is just soft as butter. So now I'm ready to grind this off. I'll just, I'm not thinking about anything at work. So we're going to use this. Flatten that out, then put it over in the drill press. And drill tap the hole, and then I'll slip the nut inside there, and in between the nut and that little dab of aluminum here, I should have enough meat to make that screw. Stay put. Just enough room to slide a nut inside there. I might have to finish it off a little bit. I'll go ahead and flatten this out a little more with and then that way we can go ahead and use the ring that came in the box. That this ring is meant going quite a few of the accessories that came in the box with this camera. And I fixed up the last one. I just took a 30mm scope ring and kept filling it, putting in shim stock until I finally built it up, and it did work. But I'm hoping this will be a little more to my liking. Plus, I'll be able to mount just any kind of video camera on there. They're all pretty much the same. Like I said, 1/4x20 is the threads. And I'll double check, make sure I have that tap, but I'm pretty sure I do. That's not it. Okay, so that's our little project of, once again, we're tackling the deal of putting a video camera on a rifle. I found some other mounts that work pretty good. One of them sticks straight out. You can put a full-size cam on there. I bought that off eBay. I was really impressed with it. It's got a bunch of holes in it, no rings, so you can set the offset any way you want, or put on big a cam as you want. This, I already have a little mount on top of my scope. It fits Weaver. It's meant for a flashlight. Oops. And that's what we're going to do next. Just find yet another way to mount video equipment onto our rifle so we can have a little more fun. Here, filed down. I cut that with a hacksaw and filed that down quite a bit. Or not filed, actually. I used this sander over there. Not quite flat yet, so gotta go a little more. Okay. What I've done here is drilled and tapped this. I decided maybe a nut might not be quite as much bite on it, especially after I thin it down a little bit. And this here is, I just use that to guide it in. I wish I had a plain center, but I don't. This thing isn't very sharp, so anyway, I just use that to guide and steady pressure from the drill press to guide it in, and that gets the tap going nice and straight. You do not want to get a tap. These things are heat treated like crazy, so they break easy. In case you don't want to get one of those started in there cockeyed, you'll just break it. And the straighter you get it in the hole, the better threads you get. So anyway, there we drilled and tapped the hole. Came as close as I could to the right drill size. It says right on the tap exactly what drill size. Number 7, which I didn't have. I looked in the drill and tap chart. You can download on the net. 7/32 was also listed. So that's what we used. It's a Sunday evening. I suppose I could go Tractor Supply if they were open. So this way I got a drill and tap set, but I tell you what, I just don't want to break one, so half the time I'll just go buy another. And here I've locked these two screws together. That nut's just a hair too fat to fit in there, so I'm going to grind it off. So I'm going to thin this down just a little bit. We've got these two locked together. And we're going to do that right here. We'll drill that off. Got our water supply in that bowl. Basic rule of grinding is you should spend a little more time in the water than it does in the on the grinder. Okay. Flatten that out a little bit. Just thinned it. What I did is just lock this together with another nut. That gave me a handle and kind of helped diffuse the heat a little bit and keep it from spinning. And now it's flattened out a little bit. We're going to see if it fits. Success. It fits. We've got just a little bit of slack on it. Then we're going to take, oops, get that thing zoomed in. Then we're going to take this bolt and I'm going to flatten that end out a little bit and cut it off. And I'll do the same thing. I'll take two nuts, lock it on there, use that as a guide, and just use a Dremel tool to cut it off, or hacksaw. Give that a little thread test. I guess I can take you out now. You noticed I got some clamps on there. Even doing small drilling jobs, it'll even torque that vise, even though that thing's fairly heavy. It'll torque it around some, so can't have your work getting away from you. I'll work these threads a little bit. I'm not sure. That's only a couple threads there, and that's the reason why I went ahead and thinned out that nut. I just want to have a little more strength there. And when I get done, I'm going to epoxy the crap out of that. In fact, I might just fill this whole void with epoxy. Keep that nut down there from spilling. So I'm going to turn the tapered side of the nut up. And give this a test screw. That extra nut out of my way. I took a couple tries to get that thing, so it's just kind of floating around and loose. Okay, it's a little monkeying around. I managed to get that nut inside there tight. have to do now is cut this off. I did take my nut off, which I was going to use for a guide. Yeah, I might just take this back out, put a couple of nuts on there and make it use for a guide. Also get the threads clean back off the nut. That'll clean your threads up automatically, or at least get them going facing the right way. You still have a little fur on there, but you at least have threads going the right way if you leave a nut on there. So I'm going to go back and put a nut on there. Okay. Got that in there, got a little Loctite on there. To get that to screw in there good and engage both the bolt and the portion I threaded, I cut me a screw slot in there with the Dremel tool. And that way I can get a hold of that screw and screw it in there. That thing kept wanting to turn and everything, so there's no way to get a hold of it. So I just went in and cut a screw slot. Yeah. There we go. I think I got it the right amount sticking out there, or a little snug down. Yeah, if not, I'll buff a little more off the end of that bolt. Yep. I'll pull that stupid thing out of there. Okay. Get the thread to come out in the right spot. You know, because you never know when you tighten something down where it's going to be. Try to get this thing facing the same way. I found a couple of, no, these aren't O-rings, but they're fan silencers for a computer. An O-ring work just as good. And I put 2 of them in there. And that's enough to keep from pulling that little brass stud out of that blind hole, which happened. I had to fix it and go back and put some super glue in there. And tap it back into position. Luckily it wasn't too boogered up. And then of course put the 2 rubber washers in there. Yeah, you can just barely see that little gap in there, so it won't hurt anything. Yeah, I've taken a little Loctite and then later a little super glue and put that, keep that nut from going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think I was going to fill that with epoxy, but I don't think that's necessary. If something's going to fail, it'll be something else, probably not that. It'll probably be that little piece of brass that's pressed into this plastic. And to recap what we've done, this is one of the little gadgets that came out of that box of goodies with this camera. And yeah, you just kind of line that up. Let's see. That's the clamp, and that's the handle. Voila. Okay, we have one mount ready to go. Okay, here's our mount. We bought this on eBay. These are real common. I always get the ones that are 30 millimeter with the inch plastic insert, and they're about $7-8. I don't want that marring up my scope, so I like the idea of the plastic insert. Plus, if I ever upgrade to a 30 millimeter scope, then I've got all this stuff already. Same way with that spirit level. It's the same way. The rings, can't remember if those are inch. I think they're inch. They're inch. Anyway, here's our finished mount. We had some little problems along the way. I'm going to have to go back and refinish it just a little bit. The main secret to this is putting in a couple of rubber washers in there, because the thread, when it tightens down, you just don't know where it's going to end up, like what position it's going to end up. And obviously you need the camera facing forward. So anyway, I made use of their little plastic mount and a leftover ring. I'd originally used these rings to mount the scope on the rifle, and one of them blew out. There was some kind of cheap, no-name Chinese crap, so I put a good name brand, UTC or UTG, I believe those are. Anyway, those are pretty good-looking rings, and they didn't blow out. So apparently everything's heat-treated and threaded properly. Anyway, excuse me for having to hold the cam in the mount, but one of the rings didn't blow out, so we just, as we recapped in earlier videos, we cut that off, ground it down, drilled and tapped, and just to make sure there's enough threads in there, I put an extra nut in there. I ground it just a hair thin and slipped it in that little hole. And this thing, you just tighten it down with your fingers. I think it's going to be good enough to keep that on there. This is a 375 Holland, but I don't think we're going to have any real issues with this. And there it is. So when it's time to download, or just want to get the thing off so I can get the gun back in the case, just unscrew this and we're good to go. And I can also pop the camera out like real quick if I want to, grab a memory card or plug it in and charge it or something. That way I can go ahead and leave the mount on there, since this thing, it does have that quick release little buckle on there. So that's yet one more way to get a video camera on your rifle. Alright, here's our finished project here. This thing has more crap on it than a Christmas goose. Anyway, I just took a leftover ring and cut the damn thing down and used this thing straight out of the sport box. Okay, I'm going to put that on standby since it's not videotaping anything. And got this little gadget off eBay. It's just an accessory mount for like a flashlight or a laser or something. Anyway, it's a 30mm with an inch insert. I like the plastic inserts, plus if I ever change to a 30mm scope, and I already have some of this stuff. I use these rings on this scope because I just happen to have them on hand, and there's some kind of cheap, no-name Chinese white box crap. So one of them blew out, so I went ahead and bought these UTCs, which are excellent high quality rings, quick to attach. I switch back and forth to my red dot sight. See, this little project took a couple hours, but no big deal. I can either remove the entire mount or just pop the camera out, and that way I can go ahead and like recharge it and stuff like that. Anyway, in this modern digital day and age, it's now, you have to download your rifle. And anyway, this thing will be looking just right over the top of the scope. And here we've left it running. See the little dots on there, so it is running right now. I think I timed this. The battery runs on this 2 hours, and the little 8 gig card in there is just big enough it'll just outlast the battery a little bit. Anyway, I'm just a little bit OCD, so I'm one of those kind of personalities. Once I decide I'm going to mount some video cameras on a rifle, I want to find some different ways to do it. Anyway, I just think it'd be fun. Just go out and, when you're deer hunting or something. These things don't have much magnification. They've got a big, wide field of view. and no magnification whatsoever. It kind of sees the same thing your natural eye sees. So it's probably not going to get a lot of detail. But, you know, I've already put one of these on this rifle. And this thing just goes on there. I think I probably get by with just finger tightening that. In case, now I got another video camera mounted on a big heavy rifle. And I'm going to use the same mount. I've got a couple more of these coming. And I'll put one on the 22. And that way we can get some action shots of the 22 a little closer to the gun. And there it's on standby. You hear those vibrations, you should hear 3 little vibrations. And now it's recording. And let's shut it off. And now she's ready for downloading. And I can just go ahead and put this little buckle off. In fact, I didn't even have to undo it all the way. Let's slip right out. And that's the crap we do on a Sunday night. And anyway, this thing will be looking just right over the top of the scope. And here we've left it running. See the little dots on there, so it is running right now. I think I timed this. The battery runs on this 2 hours. And the little 8 gig card in there is just big enough it'll just outlast the battery a little bit. Anyway, I'm just a little bit OCD, so I'm one of those kind of personalities. Once I decide I'm going to mount some video cameras on a rifle, I want to find some different ways to do it. Anyway, I just think it'd be fun. Just go out and when you're deer hunting or something. These things don't have much magnification. They got a big wide field of view and no magnification whatsoever. It kind of sees the same thing your natural eye sees. So it's probably not going to get a lot of detail. But you know, I've already put one of these on this rifle. And this thing just goes on there. I think I could probably get by with just finger tightening that. In any case, now I've got another video camera mounted on a big heavy rifle. And I'm going to use the same mount. I've got a couple more of these coming. And I'll put one on the 22. And that way we can get some action shots of the 22 or a little closer to the gun.